This is my Rolly, a dancing music player made by Sony. The first video on this channel, in fact the first 3, all featured this Rolly. Since that time, my Rolly has begun to break down. One of the wheels has started clicking, and sometimes Rolly jams up and stops dancing. This appears to be a common problem with Rollys. In fact, it's so common that it's come to be called the click of death. Once it starts, it will only get worse until Rolly doesn't dance anymore. Now the thing is, I do have a second Rolly, but this one I got when it was already damaged. So that wheel is fine, but this side is clicking really badly. I'll have a quick listen to the wheel that sounds fine. It's very smooth. And then the clicking wheel, it just sounds terrible and jams up almost every time. Now I could quite easily use the parts from both to make one good working unit. Instead, I'm going to see if I can fix this problem and potentially have 2 working Rollys. Now that's the side that works fine, and that's the badly clicking wheel. So that's the one we fix. And to get to the gears, we don't actually need to do a full tear down. We can just go in through this side. So first the end cap comes off, gently lift. Easy. With the end cap off, we can see there's 2 screws there. So we'll take those out. Now I've already taken the battery out of this unit, which is probably quite a good idea. Okay, end cap and housing is off. I'm going to remove the silicone wheel as well, just to make it a bit easier. There we go. And now we have the speaker and 3 more screws. 3 screws for the speaker, and off the speaker comes. Small connector to unplug. There we go. So with the speaker off, we now need to take out these 4 screws here. We don't touch those ones because that's not necessary. Okay, those 4 screws are out. Now, there's a connector under there that we have to unplug. We'll lift up this soft foam that's stuck down over the connector. There it is right there. Okay. Now we can unplug. Right. Now we should be able to lift the top of the wheel away. Okay, so this connector has to go through the hole. There we go. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. And we can see we've got 3 more screws to take out. Okay, 3 screws are out. Now this is where things start to get really dicey, because under here is where all the gears are. And if you're not careful, they can fly everywhere. You might not find them. Some of them are so small. So the wheel off. Okay. Now it's really important to notice where everything goes, because once we start taking the rest of the wheels off, all of this stuff will start to separate. And to put it back together, it needs to be assembled exactly as it looks. Now the part I'm looking for inside this wheel is one of the gears, which is well known to crack. The location of the gear is shown here in this image. So that's the one I'm after. This seems to be the mechanical failure point for almost every Rolly that stops working. Okay, let's start by lifting one of the wheels out. And you can see a couple of the small bits are still attached to it, which normally go over these posts here. And the third one is just there resting. So we'll get that out too. And these are the bits that you've got to not lose, like I just did, almost. So as we lift up the next section, there's a whole nother set There we go, one stuck to it. And these are little guideposts, and you can see on there, maybe you can see, I'll get a different one. I'll get this one here. Can you see how it's keyed with a little post at the bottom? It's important to note that when reassembling, there's a little hole right in there where that post has to go. Okay, so we are pretty much in now, and here's the culprit here. That's the gear that's known to crack. So let's take more of it apart and have a closer look. All of these screws are identical, so there's no need to separate them into different piles. They can all just go together. Alright, now there's a plastic piece to lift off there. Okay. So here is the damaged gear, and at first glance it looks fine, but it's not. It does have a crack through it, and I think I can see where it is. I'll just clean it up first. Okay, let's have a closer look. Yep, there it is. I can see a tiny crack there. See that crack just there? That's the cause of the whole problem. So if I sort of jam the tweezers in there, it will just open up slightly. I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to see the crack, at least. There we go. See that crack there? That's what's going to have to be fixed. Now it'd be nice if we get replacement gears, but they're simply not available. And as you can see, it's also this section down the bottom with all the cutouts, and that's the position sensor. So an LED shines through, and as this clicks around, it periodically interrupts the LED, so the unit knows how far the motor is turning. It'd be nice if there was a way to 3D print these gears to this precision. I don't know any way to do that at the moment. So I'm going to fix this using glue. I'll be using a 2-part epoxy, and this is a super strength one, and it needs at least full 24 hours to harden, and that should give us enough strength for the gear, I hope. So I'll get started, mix some glue, and we'll put it in. The amount of glue I'm going to use is tiny, so I really only need just a single drop from each tube. That should be more than enough. Okay, I've mixed the glue really well, and I've waited a few minutes. I'm just going to mix it again, and that will give it a really good opportunity to get some strength into it. I've got some isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to really clean this up, get any greases off it, give a nice chance for the glue to make good contact with the plastic. And the way I'm going to apply the glue is to use a knife, and what I'm going to be doing is just using the knife to push the glue right into the gap. So I'm using the knife to really push the glue into the gap. That's where it needs to be. And I'll put a bit on the top as well. So with the glue in the gap, I'm going to find a way to hold these two teeth together during the drying process. And the solution I've come up with is a pair of side cutters. I don't actually have needle nose pliers that are small enough, but these will work. I'm going to put a rubber band on the handle so that they stay together. These ones are fairly blunt, and I don't think they're cut through the plastic anyway. Okay. So that's now, it's a bit hard to see. Alright, with that done, Okay, with the glue now drying, I'll leave that for at least 24 hours and come back to it and see what we've got. Okay, it's been 24 hours or just over, and so the glue should be nice and hardened by now. Alright, let's have a look, see what we've got. Okay, I've had a close look through a loop and the gear looks really good. The teeth look like they're in good positions. It looks like the glue is sort of bowing a little bit between the teeth. So I think what I'm going to do is just very gently cut out a groove. I'll see if I can do that right now. Doesn't need very much cut out, and I don't want to take much out because I want it to have as much strength as possible. Okay, with that done, I'm going to do a quick test. Just see how it... It's better, but it's still catching a little bit. I think I need to take a little bit more. I need to put a little bit more of a V shape into that groove. Okay, definitely got more of a V shape in that groove now. Let's see if that improves it. I think that's actually pretty good. I think I need to assemble it and see if it's actually going to be better. It does seem to catch a little bit, but I haven't put any of the other gears on there, and none of the guide sections or the rollers are in there, so that could all have an effect. Right, time to reassemble. This one here seems to move. Just move, give it a bit of a gap. And see if I can get the piece back in there. Yeah. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to add some silicone grease. Just to keep everything flowing nicely. I'm starting with the sections that I'm going to cover up with the wheel. One of the rollers. Now, I need 3 more rollers, but I can only count 2 here. So it looks like I've lost one of the pieces. So let this, oh there it is. Really got to look after these bits, because if you lose them, it's not going to be too good. And that wheel feels really good. Now I'll put a bit of grease in there. Okay, so the two of the guides first. Okay, that looks good. And then the third guide, get that ready because we're going to put the wheel on and then add the third guide. Yeah, that worked. Now we need the 3 rollers. Okay, that looks good. A little bit more grease. As usual, I'm probably adding way too much. Okay, that's looking good. Now I need to get this piece on. It only goes one way. Ah, that just clicked into position. Alright, let's screw that down now. Okay, with all the gears in place, we'll just do another check. That's really, I mean, there's a slight bump, but it's flowing smoothly. Alright, this is pretty exciting. I need to finish this. Now, next is this piece. So if we have a look right in here, this little black piece is keyed, so it can only go in one way, both in the bottom section and in the top section. So it's going to be a little bit hard to show you. Okay, I think that's all in position. Yes, I think that's all in position. Okay, okay, almost there. Yep, that's good. Speaker plugged in. Speaker is on. Looks like I've knocked the speaker a little bit there, but that will actually pop back out. Okay, good. Cover. Cover is on. See, that's actually getting smaller. It will just right itself. Okay. Alright, I think it's fixed, but there's only one way to be sure, and that's to do a test. Well, Rolly seems to be rolling around fine again. That's quite a change. Previously, this Rolly would jam within the first couple of seconds and stop moving. Now it's working, and I'm really pleased. I don't yet know how long this fix will last, though I am going to be doing extensive testing. I will be putting updates and comments in the description, especially if Rolly stops working. I'm hoping this helps with any Rollys out there that have the click of death. This repair had some difficult aspects to it, but I think with care and attention, I believe anyone can do this. Remember, when it comes to your right to repair, it's important to exercise that right.